In our AM news, Governor Moino assures of completion of all ongoing and abandoned projects. Plus, Super Eagles of Nigeria intensify preparations ahead of qualifying match today, Friday, with Bafana Bafana of South Africa. Hello, welcome to NTA News. My name is Nsika Okon. This broadcast is reaching you live on StarTimes channel 103 and our social media platforms on Facebook and YouTube. And now the details. Governor Omoyano has ordered immediate reclamation of all portions of the 82 hectares landed property acquired by government for Akwa Ibom Tropicana Entertainment Center. Calvin Summer report that the governor gave this directive during an inspection tour of the project. The story.
From assumption of office, Governor of Akwa Ibom State Moeno has consistently assured the people that his administration will ensure the completion of all ongoing and abandoned projects aimed at improving the state's economy. This has been seen in the completion of series of projects across the state within his 1 year in office. The finishing anointing of the governor has now landed at the Bom Tropicana Entertainment Center, a project initiated by the administration of Senator Godswill Akpabio, where he ordered immediate reclamation and completion of all segments of the project.
I understand they vandalized a lot of things here. It stops today. Anybody arrested here, starting from tonight, will be prosecuted. And it's a simple thing. This is Akwa Ibom money. This money doesn't belong to me, it's us. And so, my duty, I believe, as governor, is to protect the assets of government, the life and property of people. And government has sunk in so much money here. And I believe we can go ahead, look at it. At least if we can't do all, let's start somewhere. Let's make sure that some parts are redeemable. We can then say, let's finish this and then plow back, because again, you must find out the rate of dollar at the time and find out the rate of dollar today. So we can take it step by step, but I believe it's time to return back to work.
Governor also directed the Ministry of Lands to avail him with the survey plans of the entire land, the Ministry of Special Duties to commence cleaning of the area, while the Ministry of Internal Security is to immediately take over the security of the entire environment against vandals. In Uyo, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
Akwa Ibom State, like other states below the Niger Delta belt, has been having its own share of flood disaster with attendant effects on life and property. Mobasi aided report that with the early prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency this year, the Akwa Ibom State government is mapping out strategies to reduce effects of flooding to the barest minimum. The reports.
This warning is coming on the heels of the devastating rain, which claimed a life in a wet housing extension and submerged buildings in the area in Osongoma Estate and Onoron Road. Akwa Ibom Deputy Governor leads a team of officials and experts on a visit to the flooded areas, giving occupants of some affected buildings a 21-day ultimatum to vacate the structures, while others are to leave immediately to avert further danger.
A wet housing extension, Osongoma environment, there are buildings that are supposed to go down to enable government clear the area and turn it into the green area that it was originally meant to be. As it stands, government has no alternative than to bring down those structures so that channels for the water to flow into the main drainage will be created. It's an emergency situation.
Government also sounds a note of warning to its agency in charge of giving building approvals, the Uyo Capital City Development Authority, UCCDA.
Please mind where you build your house, where you acquire land, If it is on waterway, don't construct your building there, please. For the agencies that give approval for construction of buildings, ensure what approval you're giving is the right one. Don't, like what we saw, that a story building is on the water channel. Approval was given.
Some areas we may need underground drain to take away the water permanently. And we have to do this survey, give a report, and then swing into action.
The situation, many observers say, is also a wake-up call to the State Environmental Protection and Waste Management Agency to redouble efforts in desilting drainages across the state metropolis to allow the free flow of water. It will be recalled that the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, had earlier in the year released a report which listed Akwa Ibom among the states which will experience heavy rainfall and flooding this year. Dianime Uko, NTA News.
There was a report from Dianime Uko. Still on flood disaster, Akwa Ibom State, like other states below the Niger Delta belt, has been having its own share of flood disaster with attendant effects on lives and property. Umoba said the report that with the early prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency this year, the Akwa Ibom State government is mapping out strategies to reduce effects of flooding to the barest minimum.
Year after year, flooding has remained a perennial experience for residents in Akwa Ibom State. The onset of the rains and the release of water from the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon often leaves the Niger River overflowing, with a ripple effect on states within its lower belt. This further leaves thousands of persons displaced as houses and property are submerged. Farmlands are not spared, and in extreme cases, there is a loss of lives. Experts say the risk of flooding and impact on human and economic activities cannot be overemphasized.
Look at climate as a resource and also as something we have to harness for our advantage. Otherwise, we just take the nonchalant attitude, we will be overtaken by effects of climate change.
It's about being decisive about what we do, utilizing the benefit of data.
There are some places houses are not supposed to be built.
This year, the Akwa Ibom State government is, however, matching words with actions, as demonstrated with the recent inauguration of an underground flood control tunnel. Government also plans to demolish any structure built on water channels in order to mitigate flooding and collapse of buildings.
As it stands, government has no alternative than to bring down those structures so that channels for the water to flow into the main drainage will be created. It's an emergency situation.
Akwa Ibom State government says with proactive measures put in place alongside its flood control programs, the effect of flooding would be minimal in Akwa Ibom State. In Uyo, Umo Basedet, NTA News.
To inculcate national values in the citizenry, the National Orientation Agency NOA says it will institutionalize what it calls a Citizens Brigade nationwide. Director General NOA Lanre Issa dropped the hints while interacting with students and pupils of the Nigerian Christian Institute Uyo on the values of the reintroduced national anthem. Oku Ekpenyong reports.
Nigeria, we our own
The reintroduced national anthem, sung by students and pupils of the Nigerian Christian Institute Uyo and led by the Director General NOA, Lanre Issa Onilu. Mr. Issa Onilu says while internalizing the lyrics of the anthem provides a deep sense of unity in the country's diversity, there is the need to break barriers that divide the Nigerian people.
I want to encourage you to be good citizens and be the difference that we all are looking for.
While throwing more light on the soon-to-be introduced Citizens Brigade, Mr. Issa Onilu says the essence will capture the true meaning of brotherhood as citizens while strengthening the country's bond as one indivisible people.
Our children must have opportunity to be nurtured, from that age through their lives. And that is one of the voluntary institutions we intend to create that will be fashioned after what we know as Boy Scouts and Girls Brigades.
I think my children have had a good treat this morning, and they will be more enthused about the new national anthem with some of the explanations that the DG has given them, has answered a lot of the questions.
The National Orientation Agency, however, says the return of the old national anthem will reawaken the consciousness of Nigerians as an element of the National Identity Charter. In Uyo, Oku Ekpeyong, NTA News.
The birth of babies are supposedly to be greeted with joy and can sometimes be a bag of mixed feelings for some others, while some go through a waiting experience for providence to smile. Others who have experienced the joy of embracing babies of their own take different stances due to some belief of their children being bewitched, thus leading to their abandonment on the streets where these minors fend for themselves. Omoba Siedet again reports on an upsurge in the number of street children in Uyo who are allegedly branded a witches and wizards. The report.
These could be mistaken for an animal pen or a dump site. Yet, this is where some of the street children in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State Capital, take their rest at the close of each day. They live on the street, they eat from the street, they sleep on streets, they dream the street. Yet, they are termed as the future leaders. They find themselves on the streets for no fault of theirs. For Emmanuel, the birth of his younger brother changed things for him as his mother died due to complications arising from childbirth. But sadly, he is accused of killing her and chased from home.
It was in 2015. My mother died at the time. She wanted to give birth to my brother. So my father not take me to the village to go and stay with my grandma. So my father's sisters and brother now start against me. They say that I'm the one that killed my mother. They now start accusing me.
This is the story that resonates amongst them as they are thrown out and branded as witches and wizards, sometimes following the death of their parent, a failed marriage, or some sort of frustration.
Since my mother born me, my father run and leave my mother.
I was with my dad, so he actually got married to another wife, and then the woman wasn't that interested in me because she didn't like me. So also said he didn't want me in his house again, that he didn't want a witch in his house. So while walking on the streets, that was how I got raped at my 10 years old.
While some human rights activists identify poverty, parental negligence, lack of family planning as factors behind this menace, some also point accusing fingers at religious bodies who are quick to label children as witches and wizards.
About 80% of children in street situation in Uyo are there as a result of the activities of some so-called prophets, religious merchants who brand and stigmatize them as witches.
Maybe advocacy is not strong enough. That's where the press should also come in. But in terms of religious organization, I think that as we work with religious leaders, as we connect with government people, and we get to know the laws better, if you fail here and you get arrested and get prosecuted, people would align.
They are our leaders of tomorrow. That is our future, the Akwa Ibom future on the street. And that's a great loss in human resources when there is free and compulsory education.
Just as many children would desire education to become leaders deserving of them in future, some of these street children say they wish to go back to school and get a better life. Umo Basedet, NTA News.
When one fails to plan, it is often said that one plans to fail. Now, for a civil servant who signs 35 years contracts for active service, at what age of service should one plan for retirement? Tessie Omare reports.
A new phase of life begins as he receives appointment letter, signing contract for 35 years or more in service. With hopes and expectations, a civil servant has dreams he expects to meet at the course of his career. But the clock waits for no one as it ticks in the midst of limited resources competing for so many demands in the life of a civil servant. What is the appropriate age for one to prepare for retirement?
As soon as you are engaged in any of this public work, start planning for your retirement. From the very day of your appointment letter, start planning for your retirement.
2-3 years of your retirement, you cannot have any good plan. You start planning maybe 10-15 years before your retirement so that you should have something tangible.
Danjuma Abdullahi is a retired civil servant. He says with proper planning, retirement should not be so difficult.
Most people experience challenges after retirement due to lack of planning. And most people are carried away by the goodies in the office and forget to plan. Retirement is not a time for active work. It's a time for relaxation. But at the same time, it's not a time for over-relaxing. You have to get busy. You have to get something that you are doing.
Views are diverse as respondents share experiences on how to save for life after retirement.
If the government can volunteer a dedicated month for workers, for just workers to be engaged in other things like mentorship, for 35 years, you believe me or you agree with me that that's a whole lot of time of developing yourself in this particular field or in this particular area. I don't think when it is time for you to retire or when you're back out there from work, it will be a thing of concern. You're just walking through. It will be like a walkway for you to enter your new phase and still give back to the society.
Although there is no specific age or time for a civil servant to start preparing for life after retirement, it is better to make hay while the sun shines. If you have not started, the sunshine might be today. In Abuja, Tessie Omeri, NTA News.
Super Eagles players are optimistic that they will get the maximum points on Friday against the Bafana of South Africa in the crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier. Some of the players gave these hints during a media parley in Uyo ahead of the match today. John Paul Alumuna reports.
Super Eagles of Nigeria will battle the Bafana of South Africa in the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying match at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo. The Super Eagles need to win the match to brighten their chances of qualifying for the FIFA World Cup after missing out of the last edition in Qatar. Some of the players admitted that they know how tough the South Africans can be, especially when they meet Nigeria, but they are determined to silence them with a win come Friday.
AFCON is quite a different game to World Cup qualifiers. We know what these games mean to us, being as a country, and for we not to participate in last World Cup, so we are ever ready for this game to just make our 50 points first. You can see everyone is smiling, everyone is looking fresh and good, despite we are still waiting for some of our teammates.
No, we're definitely prepared. We know what South Africa are capable of. A lot of us in this squad were also there in the AFCON and played against them. So yeah, they gave us a tough game. We're not taking them lightly, but we have to be confident in the talents that we have in this team to make sure that we can get the job done.
Get the best from the players. We're going to give everything. We know how important this game is, so for us, we know what's at stake, so we'll give everything. We try to get a good result.
On Fridays, it's important, you know. Wingers are fast, but for me, it's about how we play. You know, focus on ourselves and not them. We've beat them already, so we know that they want to come here and get revenge. But I think if we believe in the team and believe in how good we are, then we have no problem, you know, because we're playing at home.
Wing-back Kenneth Igboke expressed gladness teaming up with the rest of the squad ahead of the two crucial matches.
I'm well prepared for that because I've been playing some games before.
And that is the most we can take. Wemedi Mo is here for a BBO translation. Thank you.
Akwa Ibom State Governor Moeno abokaya kuanga frutum ame yukara mfeneke nama esongo Super Eagles etang be gideme moeni yege kebanga kembo bambri pat ye bafana Akwa Ibom mekomo anyang medu wemedi mo Samson yai kom membok yen sini no mufoko bago senemi ebu yak mbono wo kan kok uyo ebopo mufok kusong mmong no ewa pong me itiedo ma mmong ko ariben ufok nyong biat mpo mbono wo yai kom bokomi oyo
adidot mbono wu tong banga yai pong mitiese moiro akene memfras membono wu akene dem okuno yu Saturday akata to wemo wokit ki tiedi ongete with housing extension anyong dok ufok mbono wu ke songma musongai to uyo karon Urianda iwuru karastere ama sanga ye menta ka fan kankuk aka mitiemi anyongo no mbono wosidongo usen edib mekit adi wompong muforomi kini mbon fen anara te wo sop bare boko munomo ukarama anyongo don muforo tume ye ubiong tum adi no mbono wunyeme yaibob mufok utong abanga mitiese moyak yang mbono webo mufok akene akemeke adiben fana nsomo mbono wenyo aitangebo ya ufotum ani ya ubiongutum adi kono membio ekrebo kesini deme namutum bari sion membio kusong diong idem baranam yak diong idem akana boyo mfon Wisdom Jacob Kombok NTA
Karak Waibom serebo kimeyem no esiak asanga ufok esup ebegisempo ibanga ikpe mbun ebo eno mbono wu ufen umya ikpa koro ndutoko amiekeru unyemme mmengwanda iso wonanti ekebereke arinam afyonke kebanga ke gender based violence yaikombogomi oyogo arinam afyonke kebanga ke erinam mbono wu eriongo ebanga erikpan nyongtre ndutoko umya ikpa ye umya ufen ekoto gender based violence adumpo abiginwam mbon owo kankankok eribiat uto arinamado mfep aworogo etongwet ka committee esegempo ebanga arinamado ete amabo kekpa yedo mimo isanni fakeri pan idiok arinamado kembono wo esogananam mempomi anyongo bonko kema emom uto wo anama midio arinamami ke yara kiso ikpe Urianara iwuru Akwa Ibom State Senator Akon Yagayi ame akeraga ano anwan nara iwuru kara State Army ado ati iwuru pokoroka committee edo amabo kembok anamno eriyong ebo kibat mbun tempomi atapeno ado 1000 kid ikie ita ye aba mitio kid kufang iswa kid anyongabo kukara State Army eda ukut keripan iriok arinamami nyong mam mbun enamam pomi kerinamadunko emaino me eti etubekom aketogo mensionsio nka yebogo uwemedi mo Samson tembok nyen ku ba usenemi atrero nyong medu uwemedi mo Samson so songa kan bangutong tutun nubreyo